What's going on, you sexy gamers? It's Needs50 here, playing some Remnant of the Ashes, and today I'm here to show you my Radiant Cultist build. So for this build, I utilized the 2-set Radiant and the 1-piece Cultist. The reason I do this is because once you pop on the full Radiant set, our weight goes to 66 and our encumbrance is heavy. What this means is that our rolls will be a lot slower. You can see the recovery time is atrocious. You run also a little slower, and on higher difficulties, especially on Nightmare, it is not a fun time. Once you're taking a lot of damage on Nightmare, or even hard, it's very hard to stay out of the way when your rolls are this slow. So I like to run the 1-piece Cultist along with the 2-piece Radiant. What you could do though is pop on Leto's Amulet, and what this does is reduces your encumbrance by 40% and stamina cost by 10%. So this allows you to still have a medium encumbrance even with the full Radiant set on. This works very well. The only thing is you lose out on your amulet slot, which I like to use maybe Brutal Mark or Gunslinger's Charm. Gunslinger's Charm is my first choice. It increases your fire rate by 10% and reload speed by 20%. This is very important in this build because the way this build works is that as you land critical hits with your weapons, your critical hit chance will increase in terms of stacks. So it can stack up to 10%, or it can stack up to 10 times and 1.5% each. So the faster you're firing and the faster you reload, the more bullets you're getting in. And the more bullets you get in, the more critical hits you have chances to get. And the more critical hits you get, the higher your stacks will go. So really it's all about firing fast, being accurate, and make sure you hit enemies within the 2-second window so that your stacks don't deplete. So that's why I like to run the Gunslinger's Charm with the 1-piece Cultist. But you could still use the 3-set Radiant and go with the Leto's Amulet. Still very viable option. I just personally don't like running it. For weapons, you want to prioritize high firing weapons, high rate of fire weapons, so like the assault rifle and submachine gun. For primaries, you could also run the beam rifle, which is probably maybe a better option for the assault rifle. I just like using the assault rifle. You could also use Ruin, works very well. It just doesn't have an open mod slot. The Chicago Typewriter is also a very good option. I just don't have access to it right now. Submachine gun is by far the best option for the secondary. You could also run maybe the repeater pistol or the Spitfire because of their high fire rates. The Curse of the Jungle God may work well. I just don't have it. But yeah, submachine gun, definitely the best option here. For mods, in our primary, we want to run Hunter's Mark. This is a necessity. The Hunter's Mark is the only necessary mod for this build. It increases our crit chance by 20% against enemies within 35 meters. This is very important, and this works very well with this build because the more critical hits we get, the higher our stacks and the higher our damage goes. For the secondary mod slot, I like to use Breath of the Desert. This works very well against bosses and ad clearing really anywhere. Once you pop Hunter's Mark and you start tossing these around, it's insane. It does crazy amounts of damage. It can melt bosses. I love using it. But really it's up to you. You can use whatever you want in the secondary slot. Just make sure you have Hunter's Mark on. For melee weapon, it really doesn't matter. It's honestly personal preference. I like Smolder because it's pretty sexy. Looks cool as fuck. Has that extra burn chance. You could use Riven obviously for the life leech. You could use Guardian Axe for the extra mod power. You can get our Hunter's Mark up quicker. So yeah, really anything. For the jewelry, the rings, you could really go whatever you want here. I like to run Braided Thorns and Devouring Loop when I'm just messing around, clearing enemies. If you're clearing enemies though, you could also pop on the Jewel of the Black Sun with the Braided Thorns. This is great synergy because after you kill enemies, you will constantly have increased damage and increased crit chance. Or of course, you could just run maybe Braided Thorns and Sage Stone for the extra XP if you're still trying to level up, get those trait points. Really anything works. It's really up to you for ring slots. This is just what I like to use. For bosses, I like to put on the Stone of Balance because you won't really be killing a lot of enemies, so you won't have a lot of uptime on those buffs. And Devouring Loop for obvious reasons, of course. So yeah, really ring slot, it's up to you. It really doesn't matter. And for traits, Traits, you really want to prioritize a full ranged build. So of course you have your Vigor, Endurance, and Spirit. Those are very important for all builds. You definitely want to get Quick Hands for the extra reload speed, Exploiter for the extra weak spot damage, Executioner for crit chance, Catalyst for the proc chances for all the rings we're going to be using, Mind's Eye 100% for the range damage bonus, Kingslayer for the critical hit damage, Trigger Happy for the weapon fire rate. And after you fill out those ones, the ones I just talked about, so Trigger Happy, Mind's Eye, Kingslayer, Executioner, Catalyst, Exploiter, Quick Hands, Vigor, Spirit, Endurance. After that, you can really allocate your points wherever you may feel. A Glutton is very important on higher difficulties. You can start getting your resistances up with Keeper's Blessing, Mother's Blessing, and Guardian's Blessing. So really it's up to you. You can allocate them wherever you want. Scavenger for the scrap boost if you're having trouble getting scrap. So yeah, after that, really just allocate wherever you want, whatever your playstyle suits. So that is pretty much it for the build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you out. Please leave comments, like, and subscribe. Please give me some constructive criticism. I am new to this YouTube thing. Anything helps, really. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the gameplay in the background. Peace.
That was rough.